Hi, welcome to Geeks on Screen with Coffee. Take two. Sorry, Steph, that other bit didn't go live.
Okay.
It's the 5th of November, Bonfire Night, and and we're a little bit late, and that is completely my fault. And hooray! Sorry, we should. Yeah, okay. Now I can see it working on the YouTubes now. Sorry for that. Um, and I'm just gonna make sure there's a social media update. Um, just busy yourself. So, hello, Steph. How are you? Oh, as
I'm
it's
good.
Geeks
You?
on Screens with Coffee.
I'm fine. Thanks.
Uh, um,
That, can I say that's my AI wizardry taking over your watch?
it is. Just don't say Alexa buy things from add thing to shopping list. How how are you?
I
I
take
haven't.
requests from the audience.
And they can do requests. Uh, so feel free to um, send us his. That should be appearing on screen, he said, as if the power of the internet works. I haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah, I was trying to work out when the last time was. Was it sequel re? I was meant to see you, I think, at Sequel Relay Bristol last year,
Oh, that's yes.
but you were very, very busy, I think.
Oh, I was on the Microsoft stand. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just make sure we're syncing sound and stuff. Oops. Mickey has just sent us a message. Something. Oh, what did he put? Can Steph do the full interview while eating a dirty burger?
No, unfortunately, I can't. I don't have any meat in the house. I could do an impossible burger though.
Are you on the vegan side?
No, Oz is vegetarian. Oz would go vegan, but we did 2 months of vegan, and I threw a literal like toddler tantrum at not having cheese anymore. It
You
turns out I can go like 6 months without meat. I can't go 2 months without cheese.
you can't go how you don't need cheese.
Please never ever try and tell me vegan cheese is an acceptable substitute. It's worse than Oz's gluten-free bread.
Yeah, I mean vegan cheese is is an abomination. I did try something, a new one. It's very expensive, and I did try one, and it was just rubber. But so this is a standard question, and we're going to kick in straight away with Geeks on Screens with Coffee, and Michael will back me up on this because it's his question. Steph, what is your favourite cheese?
I am right now. So my favorite cheese would probably have to be burrata, which is like a soft mozzarella. But what I have been making at the moment is labna, which is a Lebanese soft cheese. And it's actually super cheap and easy to make at home because I've got a pressure cooker. So you just pour in like 4 pints of milk, some kefir that you can pick up like in it's like the new coconut water of hip fads, but it's basically just probiotic yogurt. Just pour in some of that. 8 hours later, it goes through some cheesecloth, mix in some lemon juice, and I have huge tub of cheese to last me a week, and it costs like £3. It's amazing.
Mm.
And it's all probiotic, and we get organic, ethically sourced milk. So it's all top stuff.
So is that basically what you use your pressure cooker for, making cheese?
Yes, I use it to make cheese primarily. It's also pretty good for making jacket potatoes. So you bake them for most of the time in there, and that like basically fluffs up the inside, and then you can just rub a bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, chuck them in the oven on high for the last 5 minutes to give them a nice crispy outside.
Sorry, Michael's just sending messages saying, I think he was being rude, but saying sack that for 8 hours of cheese.
Well, no, it's got a delay timer, so I just like put it on overnight, and then in the morning I strain it, and by lunchtime I've got unlimited cheese basically.
So how long does that last?
I try and make it last a week.
All right. But how long could could it last if you keep it in the fridge?
Oh yeah, it's got a shelf life of 2 weeks in the fridge. It's also freezable.
Ooh. Oh, I mean, that's wrong. Oh, freezing cheese.
I have never had cheese that I have not eaten quickly enough that I needed to put it in the freezer.
All right. Okay. All right. So we haven't even done your introduction. So your name is Steph Locke. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Now, please interrupt if I get it wrong. You run Nightingale HQ.
Yep.
And Lock Data with an E. You're still an MVP? That true?
Indeed.
Yep.
Got my 5-year blue ring this year.
Okay. That's yes. You do AI.
Yes.
And you are an author on 2 books or a co-author on a 3rd?
I'm author on 2 books. I contributed a full chapter to 1 book, Tribal Sequel, and I contributed an interview with Mala called Data Professionals at Work.
Oh, I didn't see that book on Amazon.
I think it's because I'm an interviewee, not an author.
Oh, right. Anything else? What am I
Mala
missing?
should be the person that you speak to. I don't know if you've met Mala.
No.
Mala is fab.
I'm trying to. Didn't do sponsorship. This.
Okay.
There we go. Because we haven't got any real sponsors, but I'd add a sponsor section, so there is so we can put stuff there. But I thought,
It should have been sponsored by iodine, because Florence Nightingale was one of the world's first data scientists, as well as she sat at the world's first nursing school. And her data science work was on sanitation and the impact of it on mortality rates in soldiers during the Crimean War. And she went to military leaders and government leaders and said, if you do these things, people will survive more. And so millions and millions of lives later, through things like iodine and boiling rags and, washing your hands and wearing masks, all of these things are in big part because of Florence Nightingale.
I'm aware she did that. Was she listened to?
She was.
Oh, okay.
Because she had great data viz.
I think I've seen something. I can't remember when. Maybe it was just on her birthday or something, or there was a certain celebration of number of years since Florence Nightingale was around, or it was something to do with the First World War. I'm not sure. Second World. One of the World Wars.
Crimean War.
The Crimean War. Yeah, the Crimean War. Yeah, that famous Crimean War. Yes. Vatican cameos.
Okay. So back to cheese?
No. So cheese is a major question and a major subject of the podcast. What I will do is, so Steph, what was your favourite episode from season 1 of Geeks on Screens with Coffee? What was that next?
I'm going to say the one with Ben's. The one with Ben Weissman.
Wait a minute, you said you hadn't seen one. Did you just Google that?
No, I do remember seeing Ben, the clip of Ben's.
Yeah. I did a whole section. I just cut out bits of the cheese question, and then I just put them together. But there's that's like 40 something of them now. It's a real pain to edit all that afterwards, which is why this is live, so I don't have to do the editing.
Cool. Yeah, that's why I present in person or streaming more than I try and do pre-recordings.
So I was going to ask, are you still living in Wales?
Yep,
Because
in Cardiff.
God, because for some reason I thought you might have moved at some point.
No, we last big time we were going to move was Oz got a job with Alex Whittles at Purple Frog up in Telford, and I got a job at a consultancy down in Chippenham. So buying a house in South Wales when we were going a couple hundred miles in opposite directions didn't seem sensible. Now we just rent, and I enjoy making Londoners cry with how cheap my house is, but how awesome it is.
Well, that is one of the reasons that I live in Norfolk, is because the property is significantly cheaper up here.
Because no one wants to, well, I would say nobody wants to go there, but when I did go there, it was practically impossible to get there.
That's a secret. It's really nice when you're here. You just can't leave.
Yeah.
I presume it's a bit like, is Wales still in your lockdown? Or have you come out of your lockdown?
Monday, but yeah, we've been under extended lockdown. I did a sort of in-person event, September 24th. I went outside. I took a train to Bristol. We did a socially distanced live stream panel. I came back, and the next day lockdown for Cardiff was announced. So today was actually the first day in like 5 weeks I went outside.
I think I've probably been, well, what was the furthest distance? I was telling someone, I barely leave the house. Tesco's, which is 4 miles away, is about as far as I go. And then I think I went like 11 miles away. And that was about the furthest I've been away, considering that most weeks I'd be different countries flying around or doing other things for work. Not Alex Whittles flying around. Not in my own plane. No. Not as considerably richer than Yao, Mr. Alex Whittles is.
Very Middle England is Alex.
Upper Middle England, I would say. Oh, hello. Sorry, the dog's just come in to say hello. You've got, so no one can see, you've got one on the sofa behind you your swanky chair.
That's Leia, my boxer ridgeback cross. She is definitely deserving of the title princess. She walks around puddles, doesn't like getting dirty, very particular about what she'll eat. Big fan of sour cream and creme fraiche.
And is it Obi, the other one?
Yeah.
I assume as in Obi-Wan.
Yes. Accidental naming convention. They're both rescues. So we got Leia. Her original name was Layla, and we wanted to give her a name that was similar, but was new. And so we picked Leia. And then we got Obi, and his name was Toby.
Oh, okay.
So we have an accidental naming convention.
So any other pets will have to be based upon episode 4 of Star Wars.
Yeah, maybe better some Rogue One.
You can say that. I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to go there because of the amount of abuse.
To the Star Wars claiming.
You just don't start with that. What did we? Go on. Shoot. Go on. What was that? You were going to say something then, weren't you?
Yeah, it's just like I've watched like the Star Wars films. I even watched like, this is how young I am, but remastered editions in the cinema when I was 11 for like my birthday party and stuff. And I swear Rogue One was the first one I managed to stay awake through the entire thing. I've watched all the Star Wars before then in like 2 sittings. Each one.
I don't think that's, if you're 11, I think you can get away with it if you're 11.
Very much like my dad. I fall asleep on watching long films, which aren't necessarily doing much.
No, I can fall asleep in any film. I remember falling asleep in Last of the Mohicans, which is quite a long film.
Yeah. I was very, very glad to fall asleep to A Master and Commander, whatever it was, with Russell Crowe and the ship.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Was that good? I can't remember. I haven't seen that in such a long time. But I'll watch any, as my wife says, I'll watch any old crap.
I have books. I'm very selective with films as a result. Films and games. But I am kind of on a big... I was spending more than £100 a month on books about 8-10 years ago. Well, that's only like 8 books a month.
Yeah, I would say that was a serious book habit. You know.
Yes. And I sat down and I totaled up how much it cost me to acquire the books and how much it cost me to store the books, with a projection of the increased volume of the house, the square footage of the house I would need to keep storing my increasing book habit. When I did that, I got a Kindle and I got rid of more than 300 fiction books. And for the past 2 years, I've been reading Kindle Unlimited, and I have 4 publishing houses with like 10 authors each, and there are times where I still run dry on books.
Do you know, I really can't get on with a Kindle. I've never. I presume it's a big, decent sized one because my.
Oh no! I use my phone. My phone's ginormous, so like I may as well use it for. It's practically a whole book page.
I really struggle with that, with reading. Sorry, it just made me think of wear my glasses. But with reading stuff on a screen, because I'm old, I need magnifying glasses, in front of my face to be able to see things properly. I should be wearing them now to see you on the screen, because it looks like you're in soft focus. Everything. I
was going to say, if you've given me the Nigella Lawson treatment.
I mean, I think there might be a filter for that. We could try and look. Let's see. I
do talk about food with as much enthusiasm, in fairness, as Nigella.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen a Nigella series in like 10 years. Are they still happening?
I see like clips for like on Twitter ads and stuff where she guest celebrity chefs kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched regularly scheduled programming for 16 years now, so I don't really see terrestrial TV or anything.
We don't have a terrestrial TV in the house. Kind of when we moved in here, the signal was bad, and then we just watch Netflix, Prime. We've gone through phases of other things, but.
Do you know if you don't watch regular TV and you don't stream you don't use BBC iPlayer, you do not have to pay your TV license?
Well, I do.
You can apply for an exemption.
I do use iPlayer.
Okay.
So yeah, and it kind of it's not significantly expensive, and it's well worth paying for things you use. I'm sure I could get away with it, but.
Yeah, no, we don't. I'm very happy that the occasional BBC or Channel 4 show that I have watched, like Misfits, I watch on Netflix or something, and then that pay-per-watch generates revenue for the BBC or Channel 4, whichever one it was.
I was going to mention actually something, because I've taken a couple of recommendations from your hubby about what to watch next, and I think he put me on to a couple of TV series. It might be Expanse or something like that.
Yeah, good sci-fi show.
And something else, but I've finished Justified.
Oh, I love Timothy Olyphant. If there's a man I'm going to crush on, it's going to be Timothy Olyphant with a southern drawl.
You've seen him in the thing he does with
Drew Barrymore?
Yes.
Santa Clarita Diet.
Yes, that's
very fun.
I'm surprised there isn't another series coming, but I presume because of lockdown, everything's been stopped.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to start having to watch a lot of reruns over the next couple of years.
Yeah, or we're just going to change and people are just going to be able to do stuff. Well, they've started filming things, but and then having bubbles, effectively, just the crew and whatever, are just in a bubble. But since there's a new lockdown, things like "Have I got news for you?" will not be on anymore, or they'll go back to them being on. I don't know whether you watched it, but they had literally had the studio and then like TV screens, and like sort of where they would be sitting. So it was a bit bizarre. I was going to ask how your lockdown has been and how it's affected Nightingale. Why HQ? Can I just ask? I mean, just out of interest.
Because Just Nightingale was a cybersecurity company.
Okay.
And some other things. We considered lots of things like Hub and stuff. And in fact, our forum is currently on nightingalehub.com because I had the domain lying around. But yeah, it's also, we took a long time to get to any sort of name. So it started out as a concept of data science readiness as a service, DSRAAS. And then that ended up with me just calling it Project Draugr, like, you know, the reanimated Viking zombies in like Elder Scrolls and stuff, which not a very good name for a company, not very positive. So then, yeah, I didn't want to do that 5-letter name with a vowel missing somewhere.
Oh, like Flickr and
Grindr and Tinder and.
Yeah, I think you're going for a different market from those, but yeah, that's why I picked Flickr. But I get where you're going with it.
Yeah, and Florence Nightingale, really cool, great to aspire to, that level of almost multidisciplinary clarity. And like, think about where we are now with lockdown, how many nurses are involved in it, in making sure people survive, and almost the medical profession just wouldn't be the same without her making nursing a real profession and scaling it, rather it just being something that kind of rich birds did.
Yes, yeah, it was kind of like almost like a hobby to keep them busy so they weren't, getting excited about politics.
Yeah.
Women, know your place.
And the HQ was just kind of, we want to be the home of what they're trying to do to help people.
It makes
it's a great name.
HQ just adds this level on top of it being much more than like a small company. It's headquarters, right? So it adds that sort of level of scale. And I think something that when I think of you, because we haven't really worked, but we did SQL Relay and other stuff together, is you always do stuff really well. There's no half-arsed with Steph Locke. So
world domination is the plan.
Domination first, then world domination. Is that how it works? Sorry, was that? Oh, I've got wrong. Which button is it? Family show. Sorry, I went a bit too far.
I thought you were going to say wrong Steph Locke. There is a Steph Locke dominatrix. Stephanie Locke dominatrix. California based though.
Okay. So I'm just playing some crickets in the background now.
Okay.
Well, everybody needs a job, and if it's a job you love,
yeah,
no problem with that. Each to their own. That's your kind of thing. So how's that been through lockdown? Because you've been running for a couple of years before lockdown.
Yeah, we were just doing a reposition and had a big had a pretty hefty pipeline going of work, and then it all just everyone said, we're not going to do any new projects for a while until we get the hang of it. And we're going for large corporates at that time. And it was like they were struggling even just to work from home kind of thing. So yeah, we ended up, it's actually worked out really well for us. So we won an Innovate UK grant to make, what we've done is working on automated deployment of Microsoft AI tools to help SMEs do things like FAQ chatbots and stuff, social listening. And we got a grant to be able to do that. And
what's social listening?
Social listening. So think about how much time you spend monitoring your Twitter feed on a day for mentions, notifications, things that are interesting.
Like a whole 3 seconds. If you see how much I post, it's I don't have Rodney anymore.
And you don't doom scroll.
No, I used to just I had a man for that. No, basically I'd talk to Rodney and Rodney would go, and he would aggregate it all and just talk to me and tell me what was going on in the world. So I've never been a big person, but yeah, no, but I get the principle. So
social listening tool is a Logic Apps version of Rodney. It will, you set up your search terms and stuff for things that you're interested in on Twitter, like your mention and things. It runs it through cognitive services to check for, because it's for businesses, checks for any negative mentions of you and stuff, any racy, or it runs the images through content moderator. So, and any salacious images and things get flagged. Good. And then you can route them appropriately. So you can send an email to somebody to say, hey, get on it. There's somebody's dissing the business on Twitter, or definitely don't retweet this thing, or here's a good mention. Let's check it in the spreadsheet for the month, and we can retweet it and things like that.
Okay.
So, helping automate what often is like a person or two in a reasonably sized organization. And for small businesses, it's just a drag on time.
All right. So you're just adding all that extra stuff. I've seen similar things, but they just do a small subset of that work.
Or they do much more and they cost $500 a month. I found Hootsuite has one that costs $150 a month. The social listening tool uses Logic Apps and cognitive services, so costs less than a penny per mention. So.
Okay, and so you're basically just selling that out and pimping that out to people so they can then use it for their own companies and.
Indeed, yeah. And because we got a grant, we're doing that for free. And it has been a nightmare. Doing multi-tenant deployments is so undocumented in Microsoft. If my hair could easily turn grey, big swathes of it would be grey right now.
When you mean multi-tenant, multi-subscription or multi...
So we need to take somebody... We get a Microsoft, we have an application in AAD that somebody authorizes us to do things with on their behalf in their Azure tenant. Right. And then from our Azure account, we have to send the instructions to their subscription to be able to do things.
So rather than deploying it in their subscription, you're keeping hold of...
No, we have to deploy it into their subscription.
Oh, okay. So you can't, there's no using something like an ARM template.
We use ARM templates, but the authentication piece is the hard thing. So all the SDKs and as CLIs and stuff are all predicated on you having like a service principal or whatever into your tenant, and you deploy into your space. To go into other people's tenants, to what we found that we ended up needing to do almost exclusively is use the REST APIs. We send on behalf of auth tokens with a REST API query with like an ARM template, or an instruction to create a knowledge base, and we have to go through, do each of those, get all the snags out of it, and it's been horrific.
I can imagine it's not something you want to make easy, because you don't want you to be able to deploy something in someone else's tenant.
There's 60,000 Microsoft partners. Microsoft are actively invested in growing that number. They're doing things like Azure Lighthouse to help people better manage as partners, customers, tenants. But the deployments, automated deployments, is still, we're finding a lot of edges in this inside the Microsoft stack for it.
So is Lighthouse relatively new now? Because I work in a different bit, so kind of it's not that I'm just not interested, I guess. Let's be fair.
It's right? Like 300 Azure services. You can't be interested in all of them.
No. You know, someone mentioned Azure Arc, and I went, yeah, I probably don't even care about that. But actually, I probably do care a little bit about it. But Lighthouse. So Lighthouse is for SMEs to manage other people's subscriptions.
So partners can get telemetry and costs and activity and things like that.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So I'm just thinking, obviously, we do some aspects of that as Microsoft, but we don't do all aspects of that. So some of that stuff will need to be new and written, and UIs over the top of, of that. Okay. So
yeah.
It's an education for me. I don't know all this stuff.
We've just been trying to go through automating the setup of video indexer, and that would, we've had to stop that because you cannot create a video indexer account in any other way than going to a portal and subscribing as your Active Directory entity to create an account.
Ooh. I mean, I get that will just get raised internally, and then that will be into the next
semester or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, because different teams have got different kind of refreshes and different development timelines. So it's really hard to know. I don't know anyone in those teams. I don't even know where they're based. But that's normally like a start. Because it's such a big company.
I've got a couple of the PMs on email. One of the advantages of being an MVP is you can usually find somebody who will tell you somebody at Microsoft's name to hassle about stuff.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things about MVPs is the you get abused for to do free things for Microsoft. You get asked to do free things for Microsoft.
We get the opportunity to do things for Microsoft.
Yes, but obviously they are helping you in your profile, but also helping us, the big us, not helping out me. I don't care.
But I think they help you out with a paycheck every month.
Oh, they do, but you don't. I don't care what you do. No.
I don't pay you.
if it's not to do with Synapse, you with your Synapse and your wireless charger and your phone cleaner, I saw that.
I'm wearing my Microsoft Build hoodie from where I presented at Build a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I do find that MVPs do get access to some things that even us internally don't see. We don't get access to. I mean, I do. I get access to the PMs for Synapse, but not for other areas. And when I was PFE, it's quite hard to get access to people because you just don't know them. As where you as MVPs bypass that. Not that kind of it would ever upset me. Why I oughta. How can this person outside get more access than I can? I'm calm about it now.
Okay. Yes, then.
Oh dear. In fact, it should be. Oh no, wrong button. Oh, I just wanted to play a cricket sound effect. It's a bit. What I need to do is get that played to you, but if it gets played out loud, it'll come through the mic. You'll hear it, but it won't be as good quality when it's broadcasting. Oh, apparently. Oh, sorry. Mark Broadbent said the BBC are listening to everything we say.
I hope they're paying a license to you for live streaming, Mark.
The BBC. No. This is all. This is all done for free. The self promotion that I'm giving you is all the payment I need. See your lovely face again, because I haven't seen you for literally for over a year. So maybe 2.
If it was Sequel Relay Bristol, it would be a year. Like October-ish last year.
I don't even remember. Were you presenting?
I did a presentation, I think, in Bristol.
Because I think that was the one where we didn't get the Microsoft stand till Bristol. We were. Oh yes, that's a different story. All right. Do you know what I'm going to do? It might seem a little bit rude, but my eyes are going to go to the screen below because I want to do the MVP quiz. So this is a quick fire quiz. I haven't done this quiz for a little while. It did change a bit. I do like this question. Before we get onto that, because we are running out of time. I replaced the screen on an iPhone and the battery on a different iPhone. So when was the last time you impressed yourself?
When I made Microsoft off work.
All right.
It's been tough.
So what does MVP stand for?
Well, aside a minimum viable product of a human, most valued professional, but from a personal perspective, it's a really great award recognizing technical expertise and influence.
Such a kiss ass. Okay, sorry, I should have bleeped that word out, shouldn't I? Okay, your favorite 3-letter acronym?
TLA.
Okay. The best story you've heard about another MVP, but with no names. Doesn't have to be true.
I gotta say, it's the person who locked themselves in a room and had to get assistance.
When was that? Was that at a conference?
No, that was in their house.
They locked themselves in their house?
In a room in their house. And couldn't get the door open.
Oh, are you talking about yourself?
No, I'm not.
All right.
But I am talking about another Welsh person.
Another Welsh MVP?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Doesn't live in Wales anymore, though.
No, but it is a Welsh person by birth. I think that does limit it down, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay. MVP Summit. Discuss.
So much fun. It is so much to learn, so many people to catch up with. And Microsoft, whenever I visit a Microsoft office, amazing food. Always. Well, Red TVP isn't as great, but Dublin, Lisbon, Redmond. I've been to more, but yeah, Dublin's Microsoft building has an on-site roaster for coffee with a load of IoT sensors and stuff built into it as well. So you get like excellent espressos for €1, and it's all roasted on site.
Actually, the food in the canteen in TVP is really good, but I'm not sure as a guest, you know, the sandwiches and stuff you get, some of the spread that you get isn't kind of that great. But Microsoft Nigeria, that's got some good food. But that's a different story. All right. Busch Gardens. So we're going to run out of time. So we're going to do just a couple more questions and then we'll wrap up. Busch Gardens, discuss.
What gardens?
Busch Gardens. No? Okay. All right. Fine. Now, I don't know whether that's kind of just, I've no idea what you're talking about.
I think you're referring to the gardens with the spelling BUSCH.
The karaoke place.
Oh.
Where all the MVPs hang out in Seattle.
I'm not an old MVP.
5 years. 5 years.
If you said where all the old MVPs hang out.
I meant where they used to hang out when they could hang out. I didn't mean that the old. I'm not insulting all the.
I need a lot of alcohol to do karaoke, and everybody around me needs a lot of alcohol to suffer through me doing karaoke.
I mean, that sounds like a challenge, though, doesn't it? Do you know what I thought when you were going to talk about stories? The guy who locked his car in a car park. Right, so we've got two more questions.
I was very nice, and the person who kept me up late waiting for a security guard before my very important event that I was organizing for like the first time.
I mean, who would get their car locked into a car park? That's a ridiculous thing to do. All right, so we've got two more questions. One from Richard Herring's emergency question book, and the other which is who to nominate next. So I don't know. Are you aware of Richard Herring?
Nope.
Okay. So pick a number between 1 and 1,000.
823.
8. Any reason why 823?
Prime number, but mostly I just wanted a number that people were less likely to pick. Although 8, yeah, it works.
I mean, you could pick any number, and if someone had picked it before, you still might answer the same question. You'll just answer it in a different way. So, what is your favourite Christmas sauce, and which is the worst?
In my family, this might sound a bit weird, but mint sauce is probably my favourite Christmas sauce. I know lamb is not a traditional Christmas meal in most places. Worst, probably horseradish.
Horseradish. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the horseradish.
I love like Dijon mustard and stuff, but horseradish and wasabi, there's just like there's a vinegary nasal bit which I don't get on with, but like give me a pot of like naga chili and I'd be happy.
I'm a big fan of wasabi peas. And if you got some wasabi peas and you hand them around to people, and then oh dear.
So you just love you like the sadism of it.
No, I do like eating wasabi peas, but I know that perhaps I can do maybe 2 at a time.
And the masochism.
But it's funny watching other people have wasabi. You go, they're yeah, because I'm eating them. They think they're absolutely fine if they've never had them before, and then when they have them, and then they go, oh god, it's. I find it quite amusing. We've done the cheese. We've done the emergency questions. So who would you think? Who would you like to nominate to chat to me next? Bearing in mind you have to do the introductions and kind of just so I don't have to because I'm a lazy human being, as you know.
What kind of person you looking for?
I don't know. They don't have to be anyone that I know. It's probably sometimes better if they're not. So some of these I've done like with Ben, and half the people I've talked to I've never spoken to before. I mean, there's Benny was one of the funniest people I've spoken to, never spoken to before, but had me in stitches because he had watched a couple of the podcasts, so he was basically just like, throwing stuff back at me.
I'll intro you to Marla.
All right. You have to let me know how serious they are and how much I can take the mickey out of them.
Reasonably serious,
Well,
but cool sense of humor.
okay. All right. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure what that means. Is it a cool sense of humor? Well, I think I didn't want to hold you up past 7 because
I do turn into pumpkins.
you more than one pumpkin.
Yep.
Like just a pair or 3, a couple, or like a whole pumpkin patch. Patch.
I'm not going to stay around for you to find out the quantity.
No. All right. So is I can't see your doggy. Is she asleep? Where's mine gone? She's
Yeah,
disappeared.
she's looking over like you're talking about me again.
Okay.
How dare you?
Are you going to close the curtains now and all the blinds because of fireworks?
No, we'll go into the living room
What,
and stuff.
cuddle up?
Yeah. This is the office space. Oz works to the right-hand side of me.
Are you on?
You can't see it, but we've got a gaming space as well over on the far side.
I did think of picking up Jaws, the board game, the other day. Have you seen it? Obviously,
No.
it's not like a Carcassonne or a Pandemic. it's a bit simpler.
Okay.
But you have there's 2 modes.
You go. Da-da.
Well, one side of the board is the Amity Island, and then once you've done Amity Island, you then turn the board over, and then you're on the Orca. So
Okay.
I didn't read all the instructions, but it was very tempting.
I don't think I've ever watched Jaws all the way through.
Shut,
I basically just have memes from it.
shut your mouth. You haven't seen Jaws all the way through.
Or I don't remember it. I often discard useless memories.
But why would you not watch it all the way through? I mean, there's so much. It gives you so much.
I was busy watching Gremlins or something, or Little China, Big Trouble. Is it?
Oh God.
Big Trouble,
Oh.
Little China.
Oh. I mean that. I mean, that's one of the best Kirk Russell films you can ever watch. I went to the cinema to see that. In fact,
Wow.
Critters was on at the same time, and we tried to sneak into Critters, and then we watched Big Trouble in Little China. It's an amazing Kurt Russell film. You know, it's almost as good as Escape from New York and Escape from LA.
I can understand wanting to escape from LA. Not a fan.
I haven't been, but it is a futuristic dystopian LA.
All the time.
Run by, I think one of them, the crime boss, is some funk singer. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember now. I can't remember what his name is. But yes, it's yes. I'll go and Google that myself. But thank you, Steph. You have been wonderful, and I don't know. We need to catch up in real life. I don't know when we'll be able to see you all. Okay, all right. Sorry. We've had a couple of comments. It says such thing as karaoke without a lot of alcohol. That's from Simon Whiteley, and Chris has said, did they have cinema in those days? Yes, they did. It was like a real thing, reel to reel. Yes.
20 FPS.
Well, it was more like this big circular thing that you span around, and then you can see this horse jumping.
Wasn't it great when they introduced soundtracks?
Well, rather than the person playing piano at the front.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember those days. Just after the Crimean War. Vatican cameos. And I think on that note, it's time to go. So we're going to do a showbiz goodbye. I'm not going to be left on the call on my own and you just dump me like Simon Whiteley would do. We'll do a showbiz goodbye. Go so good. Thank you all for watching. And we'll see you all. Oh, next week we've got Jen Stirrup and Alex Whittles. So Jen on Tuesday night, the same time, and Alex on Thursday night. So tune in for those. All right, bye bye.